According to the book, The Law is for All, the authorized popular commentary on Liber, 𝗷𝗿𝗱𝗶𝗁𝗍, subfigura, CCXX, the Book of the Law. By Aleister Crowley, edited by 𝗬𝗏𝗱𝗮 and 𝗖𝘆𝗰𝗍𝗶𝗏𝗮, Thelema Media, 1996, page 54. In his own words, in his own published book, under his own magical name. That is legally and editorially unassailable. Moreover, the beast 666 adviseth that all children shall be accustomed from infancy to witness every type of sexual act, as also the process of birth, lest 𝗧𝗿𝗱𝗶𝗁𝗱 and mystery stupefy their minds, whose error else might thwart and misdirect the growth of their subconscious system of soul symbolism. According to the book, Dr. Kinsey and the Institute for Sex Research, by Wardell Baxter Pomeroy, Yale University Press, 1972, page 413. The great beast and his followers were against any kind of religion, in any form, except their own. They held group orgies as a part of their ritual, and included in them the small children the women had brought with them. According to the book, The Great Beast, The Life and Magic of Aleister Crowley paperback, by John Simons, HarperCollins Distribution Services, 1973, page 340. The children were free to witness the sex rites of the new religion. They were, in fact, a privileged audience, because Crowley was of the opinion, through his misunderstanding of psychoanalysis, that such spectacles, imprinted on the mind of the child, would help to bypass the miseries of repression. According to the Medium article, titled, The Magical Records of Aleister Crowley, Sex, Drugs and Ritual Part 2, by Melissa Dawn, 2020. According to record, Crowley had a significantly codependent 𝗧𝗿𝗱𝗶𝗁𝗍 have sexual intercourse with a goat, and then its throat was slit as part of a thelemic ritual. He sexually abused multiple other people in this twisted commune, including having sexual acts in front of children. According to the book, Magic in Theory and Practice, by Aleister Crowley, Lecrum Press, 1929, page 95. The ancient magicians, that any living being is a storehouse of energy varying in quantity according to the size and health of the animal, and in quality according to its mental and moral character. At the death of the animal this energy is liberated suddenly. The animal should therefore be killed within the circle, or the triangle, as the case may be, so that its energy cannot escape. An animal should be selected whose nature accords with that of the ceremony. Thus, by sacrificing a female lamb one would not obtain any appreciate quantity of the fierce energy useful to a magician who was invoking Mars. In such a case a ram would be more suitable. And this ram should be virgin. The whole potential of its original total energy should not have been diminished in any way. For the highest spiritual working one must accordingly choose that victim which contains the greatest and purest force. A male child of perfect innocence and high intelligence is the most satisfactory and suitable victim. Logically and on the balance of evidence, these sources collectively support the conclusion that Crowley was a pedophile. Here is the reasoning broken down. What the sources collectively establish. The Law is for All establishes that Crowley ideologically advocated exposing children to sexual acts from infancy as a deliberate doctrinal instruction, not a casual remark. The Simons biography establishes that this ideology was actively implemented at 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, where children were permitted and intentionally included as audiences to sex rites, based on Crowley's own stated reasoning. The Pomeroy book independently corroborates that children were included in group orgies at the commune. Magic in Theory and Practice establishes that his written ritual instructions prescribed a male child as the optimal sacrificial victim. The Melissa Dawn article, while a secondary source, draws on contemporaneous records to document sexual abuse of commune members in front of children. The logical conclusion, the convergence of his own published doctrine, independent biographical corroboration, and contemporaneous commune records establishes a consistent and coherent pattern. He advocated child sexual exposure ideologically, implemented it practically, and wrote ritual instructions prescribing children as victims. To add to this, according to a declassified September 1918 report held in the U.S. Army Military Intelligence Division archive at the National Archives, Crowley was confirmed as an employee of the British government on official business, a conclusion independently analyzed by University of Idaho historian Professor Richard Spence in his 2008 book Secret Agent 666, published by Farrell House. Quote, "Still, the question seemed interesting enough to merit a look at whatever American security agency's records might hold on the subject." Eventually, the files of the U.S. Army's old Military Intelligence Division yielded a thin dossier on Crowley's World War I activities. This handful of documents contained one critical piece of information. During the war, American investigators, while probing the activities of suspected German spies, discovered that Aleister Crowley was an employee of the British government. In this country on official business of which the British consul, New York City, has full cognizance. Thus Crowley's claim to have been His Majesty's servant was true after all, at least to some degree.